Before we get into that, I want to jump into banks. Banks happening, obviously this debacle with Silicon Valley, what we saw was Signature kind of getting almost rug pulled by the feds, which now many people are looking at that as a very unusual situation. I won't get into the narrative of that. If you guys want to look at all of our breakdowns on the banks, we have a bunch of bank videos out there breaking each one of these down. But when you look at this has to be a huge windfall for Swan and anybody else really operating in the Bitcoin space, because I know many of my own friends, neighbors, business partners were looking at Bitcoin as a portion of their hedge against cash. What do you see this playing out in terms of adoption over this next, 1 to 2 years as a significant indicator?
Yeah, so this banking crisis that we just saw last month, which may or may not be over, it's still kind of roiling, and we'll see if there's another shoe to drop. What I think it's created is a much longer expected duration of the period for which the audience will be very willing to listen to someone talking and explaining about Bitcoin. So it's basically the longest extended period that we've ever had in the history of Bitcoin where the audience is receptive to talking about Bitcoin, learning about Bitcoin, and thinking about potentially adding it into their own wealth strategy and their wealth preservation strategy. So in previous bull markets, there's usually a lot of news about Bitcoin for 4 to 6 months, kind of the blow off top and then the crash. And that happened in 2013, 2017, 2021. And if we are still on this 4-year cycle meme with 3 up years and 1 down year, last year was the down year, this is an up year. If there's 2 more up years, usually you would only see a lot of interest on Bitcoin as it blows through the new all-time high. So as you crash through, 69, got into 70, maybe go into 6 figures, something like that. Again, total, we'll see if the meme continues, but I have to operate as if it will until it stops working like that, because that's the probabilities are. We've got 3 data points that it works like that, so we'll see if it does a 4th. Anyway, the banking crisis being so recent in everyone's memory and everyone having this shared experience of watching this happen and seeing the reaction of the system to it, and then having VCs and bankers, talking about, well, maybe you want to hold something outside the system. We're like, yes, told you so. We've been telling you for 12 years you want to hold something outside the system. Thank you. We have tons of new companies. I would bet we've had between 200 and 300 companies come in the last month looking to add Bitcoin to their treasury, specifically for this reason. And it's not as an inflation hedge, which was, another one of those BS narratives that we find in the space sometimes that I tried to fight against for the 2021, 2022 duration. But it is a hedge against having all of your money inside of a system that is based on credit and where they don't allow narrow banking. Yeah. Everything has to be fractional reserve by decree. It's $1's worth of Bitcoin held outside the system. I mean, it's worth at least 50% more than $1 inside the system, if not 2 to 3 times more, if you think about it in those terms. So I think that's the main thing that people are taking away. And I'm glad that people have been beating that drum. And it's, as Balaji, my erstwhile nemesis for all of his altcoin pumping over the years, said, we're all Bitcoin maximalists now.